Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Dudon. Welcome to Trending Vegas. We're talking about the big stories you're seeing on your social media channels in recent weeks. I'm joined by a portion of the city's social media team, including Jace Radke and Shane Savannah Pretty, and our special guest today, local digital reporter from KTNV, Jason Dinant. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
So not only do you work for KTNV, but you are a host of a popular pool party here in town as well.
Yes, I host Temptation Sundays over at the Luxor, and we're celebrating our 10th anniversary.
Okay.
I can't believe it because when I started it, I was only 12 years old, so I don't know how that happens.
I mean, wow, okay, I can see it. That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. I asked all my guests this, how they incorporate social media day to day, and you're a little different because you produce things for social on your web, correct? Explain to everyone what that is.
I'm a digital producer over at KTNV, and we actually look for the news stories that we think are going to do really well on social media, and then we look for a way to produce content that's going to be engaging for each platform. So what people consume on Facebook is a little bit different than what they consume on Twitter, and is a little bit different than what they consume on Instagram. So we kind of look for ways to engage all of our viewers the best way on each platform.
It's really interesting where news has gone because you can't just have a single format anymore. And then on social you have different formats within itself. How tricky and busy is that for you?
Ooh. Well, there's a large team over there at KTNV, so thank God we all have like our little niche areas, and yeah, it's different. It's definitely interesting. Like yesterday, for example, Hello Kitty announced that they were doing a grand opening over at the park.
Right, MGM.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, is it going to do well? Is it not going to do well? Oh, it was the biggest story of the day.
You know, you have to think about, they also have to act pretty quickly with social media. I know the city knows that lesson. You have to just be on it. Let me show you guys this video that KTNV produced. I thought this was really cool. This was from July 4th. Here's this video.
Hello, 13 Action News.
So everybody's outside of the casino in the Aria right now.
It was about 190 miles west of Las Vegas.
Yes, they call. I want to know where they are and what they felt.
So I thought this was interesting because this is behind the scenes of what a newsroom is actually going through as they gather information. I really thought that was really smart that you guys did that.
Yeah, one of our photographers just happened to be there. It was his day off. It was 4th of July. We were going to have like a little party, you know, for 4th of July, and then the earthquake hits, and he stepped right in and started filming and put it together. And it was great because a lot of people, I've only been in the news business for 4 months now. And so it was very interesting for me just to learn what really happens. And when that earthquake hit, we had over 500 calls within a matter of a half an hour.
Yeah.
And everybody's on the phone, like picking up, like, are you guys okay? What's going on? And just kind of collecting all that data and pushing it out there through the social channels.
Right. Well, we're glad you're here joining us.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, and speaking of earthquake, we have to start with the topic that everyone's still talking about, and that is the Vegas earthquakes we felt on July 4th and the 5th. Now, it sent everyone to social media to ask, did that just really happen? Here's a look. This is from the Review Journal. This is a video. Review Journal photographer Cannon captured this video in downtown Las Vegas as the lights were swaying back and forth. So a lot of video like this. I liked this one personally. This is a fish tank from Brian Miller. He's showing the sloshing. I mean, I didn't think it was that strong, but I mean, wow. And then we did see a lot of these as well. Pool videos. Of course, everyone ran outside and got those pool videos because if it's not on Instagram, right, it didn't happen.
Exactly.
And then this one from the city, because the city had to step up. The city said, please share. Do not call 911 to ask if there was an earthquake. 911 is for life-threatening emergencies only. I did not think to call 911. I mean, I just kind of wrote it out and was like, all right, well, everything's good. So, Jason, talk to me a little bit about that day. Were you there the 5th as well, or at night when it happened?
I had just left. I was actually sitting in my bed. I was taking a little power nap before I went out with some friends and watching some TV. And I have a 4-pound dog. And so my dog was sitting next to me, and I'm like, why is my bed shaking? And I thought it was my dog, so I kind of looked at my dog, and I was like, there's no way a 4-pound dog could move my whole bed.
Yeah.
And so then I stood up, and then I was like, oh, Lord, we are having a really big one.
Yeah.
And so then I got on my Twitter, I got on Instagram, I got on Facebook, started posting. I will tell you this, now, I don't want anybody to get hurt in an earthquake, but that earthquake, 350,000 interactions on our tweet.
Really?
Like, it was one of our biggest tweets ever. So I'm like, if I could just have if I could figure out a combination of fun things that aren't hurting anybody that could get that much interaction on Twitter again.
Job
Please
security
let me know.
forever,
yes,
right?
I was like,
Yeah.
An earthquake at the Hello Kitty store.
Oh my gosh.
but when no one hurts.
Yeah, exactly. No one hurt. So let's talk about that, because the city, you guys had to actually pick up the phone, start working, tell everyone. You get the safety message out there. People start asking, what do we do? Are we safe? Shane, how did you guys handle this?
Yeah, I mean, nobody really knows what to do here. We don't have the earthquake drills like I had back in LA. So people, they get their phones out and they start recording things, but you're supposed to stop, drop, get under something heavy in case things start to collapse on you. Don't run outside because, the power lines can come down, glass can shatter, things like that. Don't get near appliances. So we did a blog, we got that message out, but the same thing, we saw a huge interaction on Twitter. We had like 202,000 impressions, 640 retweets. Facebook, we did a lot less, which goes to show that when things happen, like people go to Twitter, like that's really a place where people want breaking news. They really want to find out what's happening in the moment. So, and we definitely saw that in this case.
Jace?
Yeah, I mean, that's Twitter's niche, right? Breaking news, and we see a lot of it. And nowadays, everybody wants to run outside and get their phone out and just get on there and be like, hey, who felt this, who didn't? I felt it. I was I identify with that sloshing water in the fish tank, because I was actually in the restroom and I had a different sloshing water.
Oh my goodness.
Hopefully there's no video of that.
Yeah. Hopefully you just kept your phone down at that point. I did think it was interesting. I have never been through an earthquake, and so I was sitting there going, I went, what? Is it hailing outside? I wasn't sure what was happening. It was just rattling of whatever was rattling. And it was really interesting to me, but it was an eye-opener. We are going to talk a little bit later in the show with an expert about what you can do to be prepared, because I think this was an eye-opener. Less honesty. Who's prepared with a prepared kit at home?
I mean, I'm from LA, so I'm prepared. One of the interesting things that I found out is like Nevada is one of the most seismic states. It's in the top 5. And a lot of people are expecting the San Andreas to be the big point of failure for the tectonic plates, but things that I've read recently from the Nevada State geologist says that maybe Walker Lane, which goes Mojave Desert up to Reno, that could be where the pressure is going to be relieved, because the San Andreas is actually kinked up and kind of jammed. And so that energy has to go somewhere, and we're starting to see these earthquakes now, so the big one could actually happen along that fault line, which would be bad for us.
Shane,
The science guy.
Yeah.
Shane
Prepare.
Thanks for that.
Get your food.
Jace, are you prepared?
I'm
honest.
just gonna go. I'm just gonna go back in the restroom again.
Yeah, and Jason, are you prepared?
I have a little medical emergency kit, so I mean, if I get hurt at all, I can help myself. But if there's food, I probably
You're just
have
gonna be on a
day
diet
supply.
for 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, a diet
I have a
for
thing
3
of
days.
saltine crackers that'll last me a week.
Yeah.
And people forget their pets too.
Yeah,
so
your
have
pets,
stuff
your
for
medication.
have stuff for your
Well, I have
pets.
a lot of pet food for my dog. My dog will be
He'll be
pampered.
fine.
I may have to eat some of that dog food.
All right, well, that's crazy. Hopefully we don't feel one again for a long time. All right, guys, let's move on to the topic of soccer. For the 4th time, the U.S. women's team are World Cup champions. A lot of pride surrounding this team, but still a lot of controversy over the fight for equal pay for the ladies. Here are some of the posts. I love them. Superheroes. I love this post. Unapologetically feminine, unapologetically political, unapologetically dominant. I love that. This got a lot of controversy during the actual tournament. Drinking some tea. Actually, the girl who started that's the tea, Sophie Turner, she actually approved of it and was like, I'm not offended at all, go for it. And of course, this was the talker. So this is just some commercial that Nike put out right after they won the World Cup, really just talking about the power. And what do you guys think about this equal pay? I was really shocked. On Twitter, I actually found people who said, no, they should not be equally paid. They don't bring as many viewers, and that's just tough luck. And they're not men. They're not as strong as men. I was offended, first of all. We got into this last trending.
Yeah, we did.
But, I mean, how do you not pay? I don't understand how you don't pay someone equally. What are you guys seeing? Jace, let me start with you.
I see that all over social, is just this argument about whether they should or shouldn't have equal pay. And maybe I'm just a simple person, but I'm just like, I don't understand people's investment into being against them having equal pay.
Right.
I realize, when you look at the numbers, the men's World Cup makes more money than the women's World Cup because there's more teams in it, and there's more. Those federations are more involved with their men's teams and their women's teams, a lot of them. So I understand that, but I just don't really get the vehemency. You see people posting like, my cousin's high school soccer team beat that women's team in a scrimmage in 1999, and it's just like, okay, how does that they don't play men, they are the best women in the world in their sport. So it's a mystery to me. I just don't understand the whole vehemency behind it and people's getting up in arms about it,
Yeah, I don't get it either. Jason?
I am really pro pay them.
Yeah.
Because one, Nike just released that the best-selling soccer jersey of all time is their jersey. And from what I know, from a revenue standpoint, the actual merchandise of sales for the women's team super exceeds the sales of the men's merchandise. So if it comes from a standpoint of that, is why if the team themselves are not being paid the percentage-wise, what's happening? Where's that money going? The money from their sales are going to the men.
I know, it just seems unfair to me. Shane, your thoughts? You're a soccer fan.
I mean, it's the same thing. The women's team, since 2015, they've been out-earning, their games have been out-earning the men's team in revenue. It's just, it's hard to defend. There's a lot of people that have their own, personal investment in thinking that men are superior to women, but other than that, there's like no logical reason. Oh, I love this video.
Oh yeah.
So these are actually from Ashton Harris's Instagram story. She's the backup goalie. And one of the great things about this, and we've talked about this before, this idea of the citizen journalist, and these great behind-the-scenes looks, show that women can be just as powerful in their celebration, just as raucous, and anything we can do to normalize this idea that women are the same as men is going to be great in moving the needle forward. Also in this game, LGBTQ visibility, with 5 players and the coach being publicly out. I mean, it's really moved the needle in a lot of different areas with this game.
Yeah, we have to move forward. Now's the time. We can't ignore this any longer. All right, guys, let's bring the topics a little closer to home, and that is the announcement of the SLS going back to the name Sahara. Here is just a little bit of a video they put out.
I want you guys to relax.
So this is just of their opening, their big announcement. They had actual drones in the sky that were really, really cool. I'll show you those pictures in a minute. But they decided to go back to the Sahara. Here's this tweet, SLS Las Vegas, great move. Even performers would joke, what does SLS mean? Embrace your Sahara roots. Your end of the strip is about to explode. And of course, this from Vital Vegas, showing us some renderings of the renovations that are taking place inside. I really love the idea of them going back to the Sahara. I think it's what the SLS needs to gain more visibility, more visitors. That part of the strip could really be something big, and I think it starts with going back to your roots of the Sahara. Jason, your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I always think of back to the time when Harrah's bought Caesars Entertainment. And for a short time, they changed their name from Caesars Entertainment to Harrah's, and the brand kind of suffered overall worldwide. And then they kind of thought back and they said, okay, let's change back to the marquee brand, which is Caesars Entertainment. Right. And then they did much better. And I believe the same thing is true with the SLS. I think that Sahara was such a powerful, I mean, the street is named Sahara. Yeah. So, and that has so much memories from the golden era of Las Vegas. So I think bringing it back to Sahara and that brand is just going to elevate that end of the strip so much more.
It kind of makes me want to go more. I know that sounds weird, right? Because it's still the same building, but that's drones, those cherries in the sky.
The drone show was amazing. These drones with these lights moving in synchronicity. In terms of branding, Sahara just makes more sense. It's on Sahara Avenue. Right. You've got the name of one of the major streets in Las Vegas right there. SLS supposedly stood for Style Luxury Service.
No one even remembers.
Nobody remembered that. There's even a rumor that
No one cared.
Yeah, there's even a rumor that the name came from Sam Nazarian, the original owner, pulling up behind a Mercedes SL500 and thinking it said SLS instead of SL5. So I mean, that's not a way to name a hotel casino. I think there's also this tapping into nostalgia for the old Vegas. The Circa that's coming is tapping into that. So a lot of people are hungry for that kind of nostalgia and take the name back. There's a lot, 50 years of cachet in that brand.
The good old days, right?
Yeah.
That's what everyone wants to feel. Jace?
Yeah, I'm old, so I'm all about nostalgia. I feel like Shane looked at my notes. But yeah, Circa's doing it downtown. Nobody else on the Strip is really embracing that vintage Vegas vibe. And if they do that, it makes sense. I mean, the Rat Pack was there. They have the history there. That steakhouse was there for a million years. So it's an interesting move by the Sahara.
We've got Project Enchilada, where we're going to put in all the old street lights, the original street lights.
Neon Museum's big right now as well.
They're
expanding.
expanding.
All right, great topics, Jason. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Well, the Vegas earthquake we felt here was really an eye-opener that we need to be prepared for when and if another earthquake hits. When we come back, some tips from our experts on what you need in your emergency preparedness kit. We'll be right back.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Welcome back, everyone. We're always told to be prepared, but the recent Vegas earthquakes made things very real. We wanted to take this time to remind everyone what they need in their home preparedness kit. I'm joined by CERT specialist Mary Kameen, who has all of the details we all need to be prepared. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
I mean, when you have two earthquakes here in Las Vegas, I think everyone steps back and goes, oh, I'm not ready for this. What do I need to be ready for this? I mean, you guys are getting flooded with calls.
Yes. Well, this is a really good opportunity for everybody to remember we do live in earthquake country, and preparedness is really important. I break it down into 3 sections: personal, pets, and property.
Okay.
So personal, what do you need? Do you need medicine? What about the members of your household? Do you have anybody with special needs, infants, elderly? What would they need to survive 3 days?
Okay, so it's a 3-day period we're looking at.
Yes.
And typically when an earthquake happens, a big one, power's out, and we're talking about those kinds of needs. Water you might not have access to water.
Well, usually it's 1 gallon a day per person per day, but being in Las Vegas, especially in the summer, that's probably not going to cut it. So you're probably going to need more water than that, because if the power's out, you're going to need to be able to put water on rags to cool people, especially if you have special needs population, small children, the elderly.
So let's talk about some of the things that should be in your kit. At home and in your car even.
And at work.
Oh, okay.
We spend 40 hours a week at work, so we need to make sure that we're prepared at all 3 places.
So let's talk about what's in the kit.
Well, this is the kit that you get when you take the CERT class.
Okay.
CERT stands for Community Emergency Preparedness Team, and so this is what you get after you take the class. The class is 18 hours.
Okay.
And it's offered in several different formats. And when you graduate from the class, this is what you get. It's over $100 worth of emergency preparedness supplies to help you respond effectively and efficiently to a disaster.
And that's really important, especially when first responders can't get to your area right away, and you have to help your family or neighbors or wherever you may be, correct?
Right. Okay. While this is the CERT kit, you also need your own personal preparedness kit for your family and for your pets.
Okay. So what's in the kit?
In the kit after the CERT class, there's the CERT PPE, the vest, the hat. We've got rope. We've got leather gloves. We have a 4-in-1 shutoff tool, a CERT book, flashlight, solar blankets, light sticks, pry bar, the things you'd need to begin. This is not the end, this is the beginning for the CERT students.
Now, what about, food? Because, refrigerators are not working, you can't, turn on the stove, that kind of thing. What kind of food should you have at your home ready to go?
Something that's non-perishable that could survive the Vegas heat. I look at any medicines, eyeglass prescriptions.
Right.
Also, all your information needs to be not on your phone. Your phone might be dead. So you need to have stuff written down. You need to have your out-of-state contacts written down, your insurance policies, your insurance agents, anything you would need to replace what you've got.
Right.
Needs to be written on paper.
What about, because communication could be hampered in some way, what about a whistle? Do you need whistles? Do you need generators? What do you think?
By and large, I think if you just think through what you need, there will be shelters set up. Okay. So I don't know about the generator, but I know I have several battery supply packs for my cell phone.
Okay.
That are charged at all times.
Okay.
So I could use the cell phone if it's available.
What do you say to people that live through these little earthquakes, and they're minor here, obviously, but they're going, well, I mean, if we're just dealing with little earthquakes like that, no big deal. What do you say to those people?
It's not if, it's when.
Okay.
The 7.1, it was in California. It very well could be here next time.
Because we have fault lines here.
We live in earthquake country. That's something people don't really realize. They think all the earthquakes somehow stop the California line, and they don't. Right. We very well could have our own.
And where do people go, Mary, if they want to take one of your CERT classes, which are very valuable? We've actually done tons of stories on you guys, and the training you get out there, put in those real-life drills, it's really eye-opening.
Go to nvcert.org.
Okay.
And all our classes are listed. And please register, by all means.
Right.
Register for the class. We discuss disaster preparedness in depth. We talk about fire suppression, medical, cribbing, how to appropriately respond, when not to respond.
Wow.
You know, we try and make sure people have the best toolkit in their arsenal, because the whole concept of CERT is that first responders can't be there.
Right.
And let's face it, if something happens right now, you're my first responder. Oh. And I'm yours.
Right. Okay.
You know, and that's what
Mary,
people...
you can be mine. I feel bad for you if I'm yours, but we'll figure that out. I'm going to have to take one of your CERT classes for sure. Well, thank you so much. And like you said, it's not if, it's when. So
exactly.
Why not be prepared?
Exactly.
Sure.
And the class is free.
Oh, okay.
The class is free. The equipment's free. All the supplies in the class are free. All you need is your time.
Right.
It is completely free. So we need to make sure people don't not take it because they think there's a fee attached.
Okay.
There's not.
So go to the website and sign your family up if you're interested.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mary, for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, summer is already halfway over, but the fun is still at your fingertips. When we come back, I sit down with Parks and Rec to talk about some of the fun things they have planned for the rest of the summer. That's coming up.
Papa!
Welcome back, everyone. Playing at the park is always fun, but the city's Park and Rec department has made it even better. I'm joined by Community Program Manager Jana Bruner to tell us more about what they're calling pop-up parks. Now, I thought this was really interesting when I heard about it. What's the idea behind a pop-up park?
So our pop-up park is, we're just trying to get out in the community. It's all free activities, and it's kind of old school recreation, going back to field days, arts and crafts. A lot of our community, they don't know about all the amazing parks that we have. So we want to introduce them to the parks that we do have, but also into recreation. We've got staff that'll be out there running the activities. We bounce around it's 5 times a month to different parks, and it's free. We want you to come out, enjoy, have fun. If kids are playing at a playground, they can jump in and do an activity with our staff.
What kind of activities are we talking about?
So field activities, so they'll do sack races or relay races. So
Wow.
that kind of old track and field type.
Yeah.
Arts and crafts, so they have different themes for each time that they're out at a park.
What parks are they at and when?
On Friday, it's the second Friday of each month,
Okay.
and they will be at Bruce Trent Park
Okay.
from 2 to 5. And then on the second Saturday, we're trying to rotate to every community.
Right, absolutely.
So on the second Saturday, they're going to be at J.C. Leavitt from 2 to 5. And then on the third Saturday, they're at Floyd Lamb Park. And they're trying to make that more of a big special event. So they've kind of partnered with the farmers market.
Oh.
We've got the state nursery that's out there. So they kind of do a historical tour of Floyd Lamb, but a lot of times they'll bring out bouncy houses and they try to make it a little bit bigger of an event.
Right.
The last one we had like over 1,000 people that actually came out to the event.
Wow.
Just to have fun family activities.
So you guys have been doing this for a couple weeks now. How's the response been?
It's been awesome.
Right.
The community is really embracing it. The idea is to get involved in these free activities, but also so everybody knows what's going on in Parks and Recreation.
Right.
A lot of times they can link into one of our community centers, and they'll sign up for gymnastics classes or taekwondo or whatever the interest is for the child. But it's an introduction to, hey, we've got so many programs in Parks and Recreation.
Well, I actually also love this because the idea of kids playing with other kids and meeting each other in their neighborhood, meeting each other community, making friends. I really just love that whole idea of getting out there and team sports and that kind of feeling you get with these pop-up parks.
Definitely, there's the social component, connecting. Our kids these days, they're sedentary a little bit. They're on their phones, and trying to get them away from that screen time it's crucial to their development. To just run and play and use their imagination, but that interaction with other kids is definitely a huge component to their development, and just the introduction to different sports or different activities. It allows kids to get out of their comfort zone a little bit and to in that engagement. So it's crucial and it's fun, but the best part is it's free.
Right.
If you happen to be popping into the park or you happen to be there, it's a free activity that we're offering.
Well, before we run out of time, we want to tell parents that it is time almost for youth sports sign up. And this is really popular. What kind of things are you guys offering?
So we're going into our fall sports, which is flag football. We've got youth soccer, and we just introduced floor hockey.
This is amazing. You were telling me a little bit about this. Floor hockey is like hockey, obviously, without the ice, but kind of gets your kid, shows them those stick skills, correct?
Correct. So we've partnered with the Golden Knights, and everybody's Golden Knights fans these days, which is great.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be on my show if you're not.
Exactly. I would have worn my jersey if I would have known that I was supposed to. So we're only offering it at veterans just to see how it goes, but there's such an interest now in that grassroots. Let's get kids out and see if they're interested. When we start on, it's in a gym floor, so we require kids to wear shin guards just because those sticks, we're trying to safety first.
Right.
But it's teaching them the true skills of how do I use a hockey stick and defense versus offense. So it's that very beginning layer. But we're offering it veterans. We're hopeful that it'll continue to expand into our other community centers.
Wow, very cool. So July 28th is when all these signups can begin, correct?
Correct.
And it starts the actual sport starts September 7th, is that what you said?
That is correct. So you can sign up online, you can go into any of our centers. If you are having troubles, please call 702-229-PLAY, and we'll get you signed up for whether it's soccer, flag football, or now hockey.
Okay, and do it, you guys. Get on there July 28th and start looking if you're interested, because I waited too long for this summer and all the slots were taken from my little boy's sport that I wanted him to play. So that was a lesson learned.
Yeah, they do sign up fast. We keep the rates really reasonable for those that are, have some struggles financially. We have some options for financial aid. So please don't hesitate to call us and we'll work through that piece. We just want to get kids playing and interested in a sport and see if we can keep them hooked for life.
Okay, anything else you want to add?
Just come out and play with us. We've got so many different options. So no matter what the interest is for youth, all the way through senior activities, we offer a whole host of recreation programs.
All right, keep those kids active. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, thank you for watching at home, and remember, you can get in on the conversation. Just follow us at City of Las Vegas and use the hashtag TrendingVegas. You can also find us on YouTube, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time.